we play a round called Who Dares Wins. This game involves Tom Allen and Rhys James. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is race. Who wants to come on that?
I remember that day. The Interracial Arm Wrestling World Championships. I'm a white man. Thank you. I'm a white man, which means that a lot of people hate me these days. But I'm a white man, so it doesn't matter. Literally the same. Not just that, I'm a young, white, middle-class, straight man. In the game of life, that is what's called a royal flush. I hit the jackpot, OK? I got lucky as shit, so everyone thinks my life is easy. Everyone thinks I've got it simple, but that's because they don't know my struggle, OK? My day-to-day, the shit I have to deal with on a daily basis. Do you know how often I'm sat in a coffee shop and someone asks me to watch their laptop for them? Just let me live my life! Yes, I am trustworthy, but don't assume that based on my appearance, OK? That is still discrimination. And yes, in this Cafe Nero, surrounded by all these mums, I'm unlikely to steal your Dell computer when I'm clearly already using a MacBook Pro. A superior laptop. But don't get too relaxed. I could just easily steal that Dell and repurpose it as a gift for someone I don't respect. Hard part for me about being those 5 things, that royal flush, is being a comedian. That's the hard part, because you're constantly told art comes from pain, right? To make great art, you've got to experience pain along the way in childhood or whatever, then harness that pain, turn it into art down the line. But I don't know the meaning of the word pain. I've never experienced any true pain. First time I even saw the word pain, I was in a patisserie.
OK, that leaves us with Tom. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And it's food.
Oh, OK. Oh, very similar topics. I once went to a buffet in Reading, and that's not even the joke. It was organised by a woman called Wendy, and it was so beige. It was so bland. It was like a buffet representation of Reading. I looked across this buffet, right? They put out sausage rolls, right? Sausage rolls, right? Where they just whipped off the cellophane and put the corrugated plastic straight down on the table. Like we were dogs! Then we had Scotch eggs, right? Scotch eggs cut into quarters. Apparently no one can eat a whole one. Then we had breadsticks displayed in a pint glass. I thought I was at a fucking UKIP rally. Then she starts putting down cold pizza slices next to wontons. No one's mixed Italian and Chinese cuisine like that since Marco Polo. Then she brought out the quadrant of dips. You know, the 4 dips. The 4 dips of the apocalypse. The white one. The other white one. Then there's a green one. What's that? Guacamole. Then there's a pink one. What's that made of? Sillet bang? Nobody knows. I was just glad to have something made of some sort of colour. Anyway, it was a terrible buffet, but thank you very much, Wendy.
There you go. Thank you very much. Points there go to Tom. Give us a back down again. Now we play a round called Don't Let the Door Hit You on the May Out. This game involves Tom Allen and Glenn Moore. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is growing up.
That's offensive. I think my parents always wanted me to be really, really grown up. Like, I remember years ago, my parents coming into my room, confiscating all my toys and saying, "You're too old for teddy bears." And I was so upset, I just stormed out the house and I just drove. I'm a proper grown-up now, though, and I can tell I'm a grown-up because of my pyjamas. Like, you can all tell you're grown-ups because of your pyjamas, because, like, when you're a kid, I'd wear pyjamas that had, like, immature things on, like Disney characters and stuff like that. But now I'm a grown-up, you know, I wear pyjamas that have got more mature characters on, like the Cast of Atonement. I mean, my 11-year-old cousin, we've both got Harry Styles pyjamas, but hers say One Direction and mine say Dunkirk. Obviously, slippers is the only exception to this. Slippers only ever have grown-up characters on because it's only grown-ups who wear slippers. No child in their right mind is wearing slippers, and if your child is wearing slippers, keep your creepy Jacob Rees-Mogg child away from me. When I was growing up, all I ever wanted to be was I wanted to be an astronaut. I thought I can be an astronaut. I've only got 2 weaknesses, being vague and another weakness. No, I can be an astronaut, but the problem is, if you tell your teachers you want to be an astronaut, they say, no, you don't need to study that. You need to study Shakespeare. The only way you can become clever is if you study Shakespeare. That's not true. Shakespeare didn't study Shakespeare. He went on to become Shakespeare. Shut up, shut up, shut up. I'm just annoyed at myself because I didn't realise to be an astronaut you've got to be good at science, and I didn't listen during science, and now I don't remember any science. Like, I remember the basics. I know stuff like if you put a tooth in some milk, you will lose your job at Cravendale. But I get annoyed at what I do remember and what I don't remember, and I find it unfair. I find it unfair that for 7 years of my life I had to study physics every single week. I don't remember any physics. Yet in 2003, I saw half of Johnny English. I still remember the name Pascal Sauvage.
Thank you very much, Brad. OK, that leaves us with Tom. Let's spin the wheel. Let's see what your topic is. The topic is exercise.
Also a picture of me. I'm not very good at exercise. I joined the gym. I joined Virgin Active because there wasn't a Virgin Passive. And I found the whole process very intimidating. Like, when you go in there, you're confronted with all the cardio area, like the cardio area. They call it cardio because that's where you go to have a heart attack. And then at the other end, they have what they call the free weights section, the free weights, which I have no business being in because it's for the bigger boys. The bigger boys go there all day. They're lifting things all day, trying to get big arms, trying to turn their arms into legs. And I think it all really started at school. Like, I didn't like doing PE at school. What would happen is, after assembly, one class would have to stay behind in the hall because they'd be doing gym. And I never found out who Jim was. But the worst bit was if you had to use the apparatus. And the apparatus basically was this huge, terrifying cage which had to be buckled to the wall. It was so terrifying. And older children would have to come in who'd been trained by the army. And they'd come in and they'd untether its bonds, and they'd pull a lever and it would lurch out and it would swing out, and these huge, terrifying arms have to be buckled to the floor, otherwise it would just swing out and kill everybody. They had all these bars and ropes and chains. It was very much like a weekend I recently spent in Berlin.
Thank you very much. Now, we play a round called Look at the State Visit of That. This game involves Rhys James and Angela Barnes. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and whoever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. And the first subject is relationships.
Hello. I have a boyfriend. Thanks. No, that's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. So I was single for a really long time. I thought I was going to be one of those women who just dies alone at home with a cat eating her face. That's what I thought. I mean, it wouldn't happen because I won't have a cat. If I want shit in my kitchen, I'll do it myself. Do you know what I mean? He's very good-looking, my fella, like proper good-looking, out of my league good-looking. Now, I know you think I'm biased saying that. I'll tell you how I know for a fact he's out of my league good-looking. That's because every time I've introduced him to a friend for the first time, the minute he leaves the room, they'll turn to me and go, how the hell did you do that? Charming, isn't it? What are his friends saying to him? Are you all right? Just we're very different. Like, he's very fit and athletic and sporty, and I'm not sporty. I don't even watch sport. I once got tricked into going to Wimbledon because my friend told me it was a men's singles event. That's not what I was expecting. It used to worry me that he's so much hotter than me, but, you know, we've been together 5 years now. If he is doing it for a bet, he's really committed to winning it, so... when we met. I was 37 when I met my fella. Now, I think it's good to meet someone a bit older in life, you know, when you know what you want. Like, it's proved controversial when I've said this before, but I don't trust childhood sweethearts. Now, I'm sure if you are one, you'll be fine. I just think they're the same people who go on game shows and don't gamble for the big prize. I've had a lovely day, you'll do. There are 7 billion people on this planet. What are the chances your ideal one sat behind you in maths? Really?
Thank you very much, Andrew. OK, that leaves us with Reese. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is philosophy.
I feel like people who say everything happens for a reason have never shit themselves on public transport. Love these phrases. I love the way people use these phrases now to be deep. The other day, I went to a friend's house. She had this poster, this like framed print of this phrase. It said, "Life is about the journey, not the destination." And I was like, obviously. The destination is death. Otherwise, that just says life is about death. And that's a bit heavy for your downstairs bathroom, as far as I'm concerned. Heard this one the other day, heard someone say, "Don't have regrets. You mustn't have regrets, because whatever you did was at one point exactly what you wanted." I was like, so? I'm an idiot. At one point, I paid for the Crazy Frog ringtone. I don't know shit. At one point, I bought a little chair for my old Nokia mobile phone. My judgment is abysmal. At one point, I sucked on the breast of my own mother. Doesn't mean I don't regret New Year's Eve 2012. People change. The way that karma has been hijacked by so many young people does my head, and all these young people all the time going, "Yeah, I believe in karma. I live my life by karma, because I believe if you do good things will happen to you. So that's why I do good things, so that good things will happen to me." And I think, well, then you're a piece of shit. Just do a good deed. Who lives their life like that? Constantly looking back, analysing, seeing if their good deed paid off and they got something good in return. You know, who's getting a promotion at work thinking, "Oh, that because I gave that bad old pair of trainers to Oxfam last week"? You know, who's getting a hand job thinking, "Oh, that because I helped that old lady cross the street"? That's not karma. That's just a very grateful old lady.
Thank you very much. Points there go to Angela. Well done. Thank you very much. We play a round called Blow, Blow, Blow Your Vote. This game involves Glenn Moore and Milton Jones. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is domestic life. Who wants to go? Glenn.
I've got 2 housemates, Sarah and Shalil. And it's not the Sarah and Shalil. I think a lot of people get excited when I say I lived with Sarah and Shalil. It's not the famous Sarah and Shalil you're probably thinking of. I think a lot of people think I'm talking about Sarah and Shalil from AQA's 2007 GCSE Maths Exam Question 3. No. You know, like Shalil had 5 apples and Sarah took away 3 of them. It's not them. It'd be mad if it was. No, I like my housemates, but the problem is they've got way better jobs than me, and they always complain about those better jobs. Like, my housemate, Sarah, she works at ITV, always complains about the fact she has to start work at 8 a.m. Like, I argued if she hated it so much, she should just change department, work at ITV+1, start at 9. My housemate Shalil, on the other hand, has got a way better job than me, and it really bothers me because he's a lot more stupid than me. To put this into context, up until last year, he thought that the Rice Krispies characters were called Snap, Crackle and Paul, so he's a dick. My housemates are always keeping me up late at night, always playing really loud music, always playing Dizzy Rascal, or to give him his real name, Elizabeth Rascal, and I can't But we're just different people. Like, they're into really energetic, high-octane activities, and I'm not. They like things like paintballing. I don't really enjoy paintballing. I've never really enjoyed the violence of paintballing. I prefer to sit in the trenches and write poetry about the horrors of paintballing. Whereas they make fun of me for literally every activity I ever do. They once ripped the piss out of me because I queued up overnight to buy the final Harry Potter book, because apparently it's been out for years. We got kicked out of our flat a few years ago, and it was a nightmare. I remember saying goodbye to my housemates for the final time. I said goodbye at a train station, then we all went our separate ways. Sarah departed Paddington on a train leaving at 65 miles an hour. Shalil departed one on... I thought it was just bad luck that I'd lived with people I didn't like. I'm an unlucky guy. I come from an unlucky family. Like my dad, for instance, unluckiest person I've ever met. Last year, he was travelling in an Uber for the first time, fell asleep for 1 minute, got given 1 star. That is bad luck. Uber said he was a bad driver, but that is bad luck.
Thank you very much, Graham. That leaves us with Milton. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is parenthood. Away you go, Milton.
I went back to my parents' house the other day, looked into my neighbour's garden where I used to steal apples as a toddler. They didn't mind me stealing apples. It was dressing up as a toddler they thought was weird. I come from a family of auctioneers. There's my mum, my dad, my Uncle Philip, Auntie Eileen, my dying grandfather, going. I said to my dad, I keep making mistakes. He said, you're talking to the wrong person. I said, oh, no, not again. He said, well, it wasn't as bad as that Uber driver I had the other day. He fell asleep. So Calvin Klein's mum has labelled everyone else's pants. When my daughter was born, she had jaundice, so there she was, small, round, and yellow. We called her Melanie. Apparently, I didn't even turn up to one of my own children's christenings, according to one of them, who shall remain nameless.
Thank you very much, Milton. Very good. Okay, lads, the points go to Glenmore. Well done. Now we play a round called Finding Tory. This game involves Maisie Adam and Larry Dean, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. Okay, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is going out. Who wants to come out? Maisie.
I love going out. Proper love it. Total slave to the sesh. Oh, massive slave to the sesh. I love going out, but as you've probably noticed, I'm quite tall. And people always say to me, they say, oh, Maisie, it must be lovely being tall and being a woman with long legs. You can model. Can I? I don't like it, right? I don't like being this tall. I wish I was sort of like a little bit shorter, like a sort of cute height, like a 5'6", 5'7" kind of height. Like, basically, I want to be able to go on a night out and wear high heels and everyone not be at tit level. I dream of a day, this is where I'm at with my height. I dream of a day where I can go on a date, right? And that's not it. Some people looking at me like, I see the problem. I dream of a day where I can like go on a date with a lad and like sit on his knee and it look cute. It look romantic, rather than it look like I'm restraining him until security comes. Sort of where I'm at with it at the moment. I've always been tall as well, always been tall. Was tall even as a kid, way taller than everyone else, which meant that I was never a cute kid. And I remember quite like clearly the defining moment in my life where I realised I wasn't cute. I was 6 years old. And I had a bowl haircut, actually cut with a bowl by my dad. Bright blonde hair, that was my natural hair colour. Bright blonde hair, bowl haircut. Basically, when I was 6, I looked like Jack from Titanic. I remember so clearly this defining moment where I realised I wasn't cute. I was on holiday with my family in Blackpool, because we knew how to live. And we went to the shopping centre one day and I got lost. And like any good 6-year-old kid, I went to the Lost Children Centre to tell the lady. But I was really shy at 6 years old, so I went up to her and I was like, excuse me, I've lost my mum and dad. She went, don't worry, sweetheart, tell us your name and we'll put an announcement out on Tannoy. So I said, Maisie. She went, you what? I said, Maisie. This is what went out on the Tannoy in Blackpool Shopping Centre when I was 6 years old. Hello, this is Chelsea from the Lost Children's Centre. Can the parents of a little boy called Moses... him, please. He's wearing a Spice Girls t-shirt and leopard print trousers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That leaves us with Larry. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is confidence. There you go.
I'm not a very confident person. I think it's because I was a virgin until I was 23. That's too long. That's way too long. I genuinely think this, right? You know there's a minimum age you can have sex at? I think there should be a maximum age you have to have sex by. If you're 20 and you've not lost your virginity, the government should get involved. Because sex is like chicken pox. If you don't get it when you're a bit younger, it is going to scar you in later life. Because I've got no confidence, even in the way I look, right? Because I've got body dysmorphia. Like, body dysmorphia, if you don't know, is like the way that you see me is not the same way I see myself, right? So you're looking at me, and you probably see a skinny, white guy. A lot of the times I look at my reflection, I see a fat Chinese lady. And she usually says to me, go away and stop looking through my window. So I thought what I'll do this year is I'm going to slim down and I'm going to tone everything up, right? Even though it's 2019, right? Because 2019 is a difficult year to lose weight because it's bad luck, because it's actually the year of the pig. I know that because my reflection told me. So what I did is I bought this bad boy. It's a pedometer watch, right? And I've never had a pedometer watch before, but I've noticed something, right? Whenever I wear my pedometer watch on my left hand, I walk like 5,000 steps a day. When I wear it on my right hand, I get jizz on it.
Thank you very much, Dean. Points at the end of that round. Go to Macy Adam. Now we play a round called Boris Johnson and his Chamber of Secrets. This game involves Tom Allen and Milton Jones. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is school. Who's coming on that? Tom.
Hello. I went to quite a rough school. I know. Isn't it moving? And it was a sort of school where people would come up to you and say things like, hey, you, do you want to fight, do you? Do you want to fight? Is that why you look at me like that? Yeah, you want to fight? Yeah, don't you want to fight? Don't you want to fight? And I'd always say, oh, no, thank you. But thanks for thinking of me. Those girls could be so cruel. And at my school, to avoid getting picked on, everyone had the same of everything. So everyone had, like, the same pencil case. It was a pencil case that was made to look like a packet of Walker's Crisps. And in it, everyone had the same Oxford math set, which was like a tin pencil case, which contained a ruler, maybe a foldable ruler for travel. A foldable ruler, which was great for underlining things, wasn't it? Until you got to the middle. Big bump in the middle. And a set square, which wasn't a square, was it? It was a triangle. And a compass. Oh, I'm glad I learned how to use a compass. Not a day goes by. It's a perfect circle. It's got a hole in the middle, but it's a perfect circle. And, like, when do you even get to use that math set? I mean, occasionally you'll get to do proper grown-up maths, or math as they call it in America, don't they? But we do it more than once. When you get to do things like trigonometry and SOHCAHTOA. Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA. Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA. That's a thing. SOHCAHTOA. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. I mean, now, as an adult looking back, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, if they spent maybe half an hour, or even just like 10 minutes, just 10 minutes going, this is a pension scheme. This is how you fill in a tax return. This is how you mend a broken heart. This is how you tell an estate agent to fuck off.
Thank you very much, Tom. OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is shopping.
Those reward cards are rubbish, aren't they? I've got too many points on one of them, and now I'm not allowed to drive. It's really important if you buy something, of course, to read all the instructions. I don't know if you've ever tried to fill a baboon with helium. is not the best lip salve I've ever used. I couldn't complain. Southern Comfort tastes nice. Ordinary Comfort tastes like fabric softener. But at least your burps smell of summer meadows. When I was in America, I really got into the culture, so I went into a shop and the guy said, "Have a nice day," and I didn't, so I sued him.
Yes, well done. Thank you very much, Milton. Points there for Tom Allen. Everybody come on. Now we play a round called I'd Leave That for 3 months if I were EU. This game involves Ishan Akbar and Angela Barnes. If you could make your way to the performance area, please.
Go.
This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is identity.
Obviously. So just before I start, I just want to clarify, I'm not actually anyone's GP. We were having a nice time. I went to Hamburg recently, and the Germans, very interesting people. They're very interested to find out about where I'm from. And the way I knew this is they come up to me and they'd go, "Where are you from?" And I'd say England, and they'd go... And obviously they're shaking their head because I'm brown, and the reason I'm brown is because my dad's from Pakistan and my mum's from Bangladesh, which means I can make a fantastic pair of jeans. With a Pakistani dad and a Bangladeshi mum, and me being born and raised in England, I'm very much the ultimate colonial baby. You guys heard of colonialism? A sea of white faces staring back at me, eh? I remember asking my mum to describe colonialism to me. She said, "Yeah, colonialism, not that big a deal. Think of it as a gap year that got out of hand." Which I thought was a lovely description, but I really enjoyed growing up in a mixed Pakistani-Bangladeshi household. I got the benefit of various experiences. For example, all the gastronomical experiences. Thursday night, curry night, like every other bloody night. But I'll be honest, the thing that was tough about growing up in a mixed Pakistani-Bangladeshi household was the racism from my parents to each other. They spent their whole life advising me not to marry the person from the other nationality on spurious racist grounds. So my dad would be like, "Never marry a Bangladeshi, they stink of fish. And they can't swim." My mum would be like, "Never marry a Pakistani, they fix cricket matches. And they killed 3 members of my family." I'm like, wow, you went with the cricket matches first? But growing up, right, I felt like I had to choose a side. And in truth, I never really exhibited the characteristic to choose either. For a start, I was too good a swimmer to be Bangladeshi. And I never actually acted on the impulse of finding my cousin attractive to be Pakistani. Even though he is really fit.
Thank you very much, Ishan. OK, that leaves us with Angela. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is class.
Yeah, I am a proudly working class girl. You can tell I'm working class. There's a little test you can do to find out whether or not someone's working class. What you do is you compliment something they're wearing, and a working class person will respond instantly every time with a price and where they got it. That's how you know. That's a nice top, Angela. Tenner, Georgia Asda. That's how you know. Posh people aren't doing that, are they? I had to do the after dinner at the Duke of Edinburgh's Polo Club. It's all right, he didn't drive me there. But it's what can only be described as a spectacular piece of misbooking. I can only imagine that at the same time Sir Stephen Redgrave was getting booed off stage at the Funny Bucket in Croydon. I have no idea what it was. Black tie as well, but black tie, I don't even know what that means. In my family, black tie means you've got a court appearance in the morning. He said I had to wear a hat or a substantial fascinator. What's that? Do I need to go to Ann Summers? I don't know. So I went out, I bought a new dress. I bought a new dress for the occasion, 70 quid, Debenhams. And I did the gig. It went what can only be described as fine. I just wanted to go home. I didn't belong, right? And as I was leaving, this woman, she stopped me in the doorway, a woman from the Polo Club, the poshest woman I've ever met in real life. One of those people so posh, it looks like it causes them physical pain to speak. She stopped me in the doorway. She said, Angela, I knew when I saw you arrive earlier that you must be the entertainment. She said, I knew you couldn't be married to a polo player, not with that hair. I said, that's funny, love. I knew you were married to a polo player because you look like a fucking horse.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Points to both of you there. Come on, sit back down again. Well done, everybody. Now, we play a round called The End is Nigel. This game involves Olga Koch and Nigel Ung. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop one of our performers will step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is nationality. Who wants to come in that?
I'll take it.
Olga.
Hell yeah! Hi. Nationality is a very big topic for me because I'm originally from Russia and I need to start every set like that because I know that they're listening. I have a very Russian name. My name is Olga. Olga is the most common name in Russia. It is, of course, Old Slavic for I wish you were a boy. My last name is K-O-C-H. It's meant to be pronounced Koch, but if you're living in an English-speaking country, 8 out of 10 times I am Olga Koch. I ran for student government of my high school under the slogan, I want me some cock. And I won. Also, I don't know if you know this, but in Russia, we don't have middle names, we have patronyms. So instead of another name, I have my father's name. So if you look into my passport, it literally says Olga Alfredskak. So I never forget where I come from. I was born in 1992, shortly after Russia elected its first ever president, which started a very long history of Russian people electing presidents all over the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Olga. That leaves us with Nigel. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. Now, the topic is food and drink. Where you go?
I'm foreign too. Yeah, I got the immigrants to do it. It's cheaper, you know? I'm from Malaysia originally, and I moved to the UK 4 years ago, mainly for comedy, and so I can drink tap water and not shit myself. Yeah. Favorite part of your country, by the way? Pretty great here, right? Tap water? Yeah. Ironing my shirt today, got a little bit thirsty, just spray some ironing water straight into my mouth. No malaria, nice. When I first moved here, I asked the guy here, like, what's the worst thing you have in your UK tap water? You know what he told me? Lime scale. Well, what the hell is lime scale? Does it give you a headache? Does it make you vomit? He said, no, it just makes the inside of your kettle a little bit white. Life must be so hard for you. With your kettle discoloration problems. I love scale. I eat all the scale now, all right? I'm gonna go home and lick my teapot later. Even when we take the trains here, even the train toilets tell you the tap water in there is not drinkable, right? I'm like, okay, we'll see about that. And turns out they're right. Set myself in the real replacement bus service.
Well done. Very good. Points there for Olga. Or either of them. Come on, come back. Back here. Now we play a round called Prince Andrew's Meat Feast. This game involves Ed Gamble and Mark Simmons. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. And the first subject is family. Ed.
Just a normal picture of a normal family there. My dad is he's an intelligent man. I would describe him as intelligent, but he's that level of intelligence where if he gets caught making a stupid mistake, he will lie to get his way out of it. Perfect example, many years ago when I was 8 or 9, my dad took me into a baker's. He marched up to the lady working behind the counter and he said, "Hello! We'd like a Danish boog, please." Now, don't worry, she all looked at me like you're all looking at me now. Because the Danish boog is not a thing that exists. That is not a baked product. So obviously she said, "So sorry, sir, never heard of the Danish boog. Is it a baked product?" My dad ploughed on with, if anything, increased confidence. He said, "Yes, the Danish boog." She said, "Again, I've just started working here, but I know everything we sell here. I've never heard of a Danish boog." Started to get angry now. I was going, "The Danish boog! The Danish boog!" pointing at a chalkboard behind her. She turned round, looked at the chalkboard, turned back to us and said, "Do you mean the Danish 800 gram?" I think in this situation, 99.99% of us would immediately go, "God, of course I do, I'm so sorry. Not the boog, of course. I saw the A, I thought it was a B. I saw the G, that was still a G, to be fair. But the Danish 800 gram, that is the bread that I would like." It was a bread, by the way, not a massive pastry. Right, but here's how my dad chose to handle it. She said, "Do you mean the Danish 800 gram? My dad said, "No, I mean a Danish boog." She snapped and went, "Well, I'm going to have to go and speak to the boss because I have no idea what you're talking about." My dad went all in on the lie. He was going, "Well, you better hurry up. It's not a Saturday without a boog." "If I go back to my wife without a boog, she'll have my bloody guts for garters, thank you very much." And as soon as she left his field of vision, I will never forget this until the day I die, he leant down to me and said, "We're leaving now."
Thank you very much, Ed Gamble. OK, that leaves us with Mark. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is relationships.
So, a lot of people say comedy is the new rock and roll. Well, if you want to know how many women I sleep with, this week alone, last week alone... I am in a relationship. I messaged my girlfriend asking her to describe the first time we made love, and she texts back quite quick. She said she thought I'd get the name of the Black Eyed Peas frontman wrong. I said, "Will I now?" Honeymoon period. That's unlucky. Sometimes my girlfriend scratches during sex. Last week she won a tenner. Sometimes she has a go at me during sex. We started doing it and she was like, "Mark, can we take off your socks?" So I was like, "OK." So I spoke about a couple of rude bits. I'll tell you this, right? I recently woke up to find my girlfriend using her vibrator in complete silence. And I thought, that is not on. Sometimes I like to sleep in the fetal position, which isn't very comfortable for my mum. That's all for me, thank you.
Well done. Points there go to Mark. Well done. Come on. We play a round called Have I Got Jews for You? I told you it wouldn't work. I told you they would turn on me. Don't you mashuggan at me. This game involves Milton and Chris, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is diet. Chris.
So I'm about half a stone away from changing my Facebook picture to a Ferrari or a football badge. I had what should have been a bit of a wake-up call recently as well. I was driving home from a gig and I bought a kebab just for me, no one else. And I put it on the passenger seat of my car when I was driving and that beeper started going off. You know the one that's designed to go off when it detects the weight of a fucking person, that one? You know you've got serious issues when you have to put a seatbelt around your kebab when you're driving.
But the thing is, I don't get that food guilt anymore. Now, food guilt is that little voice in your head which has a go at you when you're eating too much junk food and fast food and takeaway. It just pops up and it just goes, stop being such a fat bastard. It disappears, right? Everyone's had that voice. I don't get that voice anymore, it's gone. But not only has it gone, it's been replaced with a voice which reasons with me on everything and comes up with fantastic excuses instead. So a few weeks ago, I had 3 Indian takeaways in a week, which sounds like quite a lot, but then this little voice in my head just popped up and it just went, yeah, but Chris, have you lived in India? Right, just for your tea, don't worry about it. In fact, I'd crack on. Chicken boona, cheesy chips, 6 oven fried nuggets and 4 cans of Rubicon. They're at it all the time in Mumbai, come on. Anyway. And then I thought, right, dieting's not for me, so I'll try a bit of exercise. So I thought, right, I'll ease myself in, I'll not go overboard, you know what I mean? So I'll just do 10K for my first run. That was the plan, right? Because, I don't know if you noticed this, but I've sponsored people on Facebook well fatter than me doing 10K runs, so I presumed it'd be dead easy, right? So I thought, 10K this week, half marathon next week, full marathon a week after, yeah? And anyway, I've got all my running gear on, right? And I've downloaded one of these apps on my phone what tells you how far you've gone and how long it's took you, right? I've set off running from our house with my phone in my hand. I had to stop because I had a stitch. I looked down at my phone and I was still connected to my home Wi-Fi, so...
Thank you very much, Chris Washington. That leaves us with Milton. Let's see what topic you have. The topic is communication.
Not a good day today. No one turned up to the first meeting of my sarcasm club, despite loads of people saying how much they were looking forward to it. Do you ever do that thing when you're on the phone?
You put it down.
No, you put it down.
No, you put it down.
Listen, you're a qualified vet and it's an old dog. Do you know, it was so cold the other day in the city of Chester, when I ordered a taxi, I ended up in Chichester. The only bright point of the journey was seeing a car going the other way with a seatbelt round a kebab. My wife and I, we argue sometimes.
You've left the lid up, you've left the lid up.
Yes, but what if it's a man, the next person to use the toilet?
It's a pedal bin, it's a pedal bin.
It was her birthday recently. I took her to an orchard in Somerset. We stood for about 20 minutes. Not the Apple Watch she wanted.
Thank you very much, Milton. Points there for Chris. Come on, sit down. Now we play a round called You Went to NATO, I Went to NATO. This game involves Tom and Reese. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and whoever it chooses to stop one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, let's spin the wheel. And the first subject is the environment. Who wants to come in that? Reese.
We've got to do more, haven't we? We all know it's a big issue, the environment. We've got to do more stuff, but they're expecting too much from us too soon. OK, it's baby steps. Like, I know that I need to switch to a plant-based diet, really, but it's baby steps. Like, recently, I've given up chicken nuggets, all right? Might not seem like a big deal, OK, but I've gone nugless. That's what I decided. 3 months ago, I saw the first climate march. I was like, yeah, no more nuggets, right? And I'm smashing it. It's been 3 months, not had a single nugget. I'm doing so well. Slight confession, I'm eating a lot of goujons. Like, twice as many. And they've got way more real chicken in as well. It's awful for the planet. It's a terrible mistake. I thought we'd solved it with the bags. When we switched to charging 10p for the bag, I thought that was the end of the issue. I thought we'd done it. But it's not enough of a deterrent, is it, 10p, when you're at the checkout and you haven't remembered your canvas bag, and they go, do you want a bag for 10p? You're like, well, what's the alternative? I just eat all this now. Yeah. What's for dinner tonight? Oh, cauliflower, mustard and Dettol. Yes. I need a bag, please. Costa are the same. Costa, they'll give you 10p off your coffee if you're taking a reusable cup, right? Because they're like, oh, we're Costa, we care about the environment. No, you don't, mate. If you care about the environment, Costa, why are your receipts the size of a duvet? Get real. But it is handy having that 10p, because you can take that 10p and spend it on a plastic bag in Sainsbury's. So it is ideal. No, but I think I know why middle-aged people don't like Greta Thunberg, right? And it's because she makes their kids look shit. Right? You can't brag about your kids with her on the scene. This is parents in the playground stuff now, isn't it? With their parents just going, oh, yeah, oh, is your son Jamie? He's made the football team, has he? Oh, well done. My daughter is the face of the campaign to rescue this planet from the jaws of oblivion. But, good luck with a little kickabout, Jamie. Off you go. Oh, your son, Lucas, he's made his grade 4 cello, has he? Oh, well done. Yeah, my daughter is the reason he might live to see grade 5.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much, Reece. OK, that leaves Tom. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And it's travel.
Travel, OK, fine. Well, I travelled from over there. One of my favourite travel experiences was at secondary school when we went on the school music trip to France. And to get on the school music trip to France, you had to be part of the choir. I was in the choir, and it basically meant you got to hang out with all the other 13-year-old homosexuals who didn't yet realise they were homosexuals and their chatty female friends. And it was a great place to go and learn how to play a show tune on the flute. Not a euphemism. And this was back in the day when it didn't matter where you were going with the school. If you went on any school trip, you had to go by coach. Like, if you go to Australia, you go by coach. This was supposed to be a 5-day trip to France. We spent 2 days on the coach getting there and 2 days getting back. It was basically a day in France. So, on this trip, you really had to make the best of the coach trip. And for me, my favourite bit was when we got to stop off at the French hypermarket. So I thought that would be a great place for me to show off how much better I am than everybody else, because I'd actually been paying attention in French. So I went over to the patisserie and I said to the man there, "Bonjour, je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît." And according to the French classes, the man behind the counter should have responded by saying, "Oui." Il y a un croissant ici, which, when you think about it, is basically the equivalent of someone coming over here and saying, "Hello, I'd like to buy a pasty, please." And then the man behind the counter responding by saying, "Yes!" There is a pasty here. I'm not even mentioning that it's part of a meal deal. So I said, "Bonjour, je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît." And then the man behind the counter responded in normal French by going, blah, 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 blah. I had no idea what he was saying. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, my friend Kevin was no help. The only French he spoke was the French horn, which is a euphemism. I mean, I say they teach us how to speak French. Most of the time, they teach us how to sing it. I mean, I could have stood there and gone, "Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire?" But the idea of a 13-year-old English homosexual standing in the middle of a French hypermarket going, "What is the date of your birthday? What is the date of your birthday?" Couldn't be any more absurd. So I just responded by saying, "Oui, oui, d'accord, d'accord." Ended up with 8 kilograms of ham.
Thank you very, very much. Points there to Tom.